Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and a game between DS and Gamma Bears' Slam here on Whirlwind. Yes, this is part of the TeSL. Unfortunately, I could not cast these games live, so I will be forced to cast these games from replays. But anyways, let's get right into it. Over here on the top left-hand side of the map, we have Gamma Bears' Slam spawning as the red Zerg. Meanwhile, over here on the bottom right-hand side of the map, we do have Rush's DS spawning as the blue Protoss. This is here on Whirlwind, and yes, I hope you guys like that little bit of the introduction. You're gonna see me quote-unquote leave the game, apparently trying to observe a game all the way from California when the game is located on the Korean Battle.net servers does introduce a bit of lag. My apologies to them, but hopefully there is nothing really lost there whatsoever. Now, once again, this is part of the Taiwan Esports League. You can go ahead and wow, the Nexus all of a sudden decided to disappear on me. All right, there it is. It is back. Hopefully I don't run into any more issues like that, as we see both players just opening up. Now, I would say normally I would expect to see a Forge Fast expansion, but what we can see from DS's case that he is not going for a Forge Fast expansion, instead building that gateway relatively close to home, and it looks like he will be going for a very standard Mothership Core expansion. Mothership Core expansion is one of those builds that is very, very common. Hopefully no one tries to message me right now, because I don't know how to set myself as a way. Is it here? Nope. All right, I'll find it a little bit later. Anyways, let's take a look at what Slam is doing. Slam actually opening up with a hatchery and then a spawning pool. So it is going to be a spawning pool first before the hatchery. You can see a drone now making its way down to the natural expansion. And this is going to be a 16 hatchery after a spawning pool. Now, Whirlwind is a map that is rather large. There's a lot of expansions around the map if you take a look, but there's nothing really going on in the center. If you take a look inside in here, there is not a lot of action going on in the center. It is actually very, very wide open for any player to try and use. What's important to note about that is that the majority of the fights do happen on these very, very narrow choke points. Just outside your base, you can see that there's a little bit of choke points here and here. A couple of force fields could spell the difference between victory and defeat. Now, in a PvZ, I expect to see a lot of just hardcore macroing coming in from the Zerg. Meanwhile, coming in from the Protoss, it is going to be up to him to try and execute a lot of harassment. With this double gas opening that we see a lot of Protoss players using, that does show me that he is going to be teching perhaps into Oracles or Phoenixes in order to place down pressure. So far, a probe now making its way back off to the north. It will finally scout out his opponent here, as we now see Zerglings trying to do a little bit of scouting out as well. Probe finally setting up that front door wall. Zergling going to try to make its way in. Not going to be able to do very much though, as a Mothership Core has arrived to the party. Will clean up that Zergling with little to no effort. Meanwhile, Slam has decided to go into a 3-base build. This hatchery down over here this hatchery down over here at what I'll call the center 10 o'clock location will be the 3rd base, and I am not surprised by this expansion location. The reason behind this is that you kind of want to minimize the amount of surface area that you expose yourself to, especially against Protoss on a map like this. The reason being, the major sources of harassment will be by air. Oracles and Phoenixes could be the units of choice. As we now see the Zergling try and chase after a probe, I do believe that probe will be able to head back home with no problem whatsoever. Its shield should start to recharge, get back up to full, take a slap now. No? Oh, there's a slap, and now that probe will just pretty much walk inside the base. At least it does force the probe home, as we now see. Yes, there is going to be an Overlord sitting over here on the high ground, and a Mothership Core is going to be able to spot it. Sentries and Stalkers are not making its way over, so that Overlord will gain sight for quite a while, and also know when this gas geyser is taken. Coming around, let's take a look at the harvester count. We can see that it is 40 drones versus 31 probes, and there is now one oracle on the field making its way off to the top left hand side, that 10 o'clock location for Gamania Slam. He hopes to get a lot of kills here with this oracle, and the oracle is going to have a fair amount of energy. It is going to go ahead and activate that pulsar beam in just a second. It can only attack ground. Overlords are safe, but drones is a completely different question, as a spore crawler already coming in. There you go, 1 drone down, 2 drones, 3. Is the 3rd drone going to get taken down? It looks as though we are currently at 2 kills, up to 3 kills, now trying to make its way around. That drone kill count is still not quite high enough. Where is DS really looking to go with this one oracle? It looks like he may be able to perhaps get off another easy kill here. Yes, it looks like he will be able to get off 1 kill. Can he get another? No, he cannot, as the drone is able to slip by. Nicely done. Meanwhile, Zerglings now making their way out as we are going into a robotics facility. Rush, a bit supply blocked, was sitting at 52 over 60 for a little bit of time. Not too good news, as we are seeing more Phoenixes being trained. Little Phoenix icon there, little probe there. You guys can see what's going on in terms of the action without me having to give every little bit of detail, as the game now still progressing very nicely. Rush going to be sitting on, or sorry, DS going to be sitting on these bases, and he is going to be playing a bit defensively. He wants to try and perhaps move out with a 2-base timing, but he doesn't know about the 3rd base, and he doesn't know that a Roach Warren is already down, or I believe a Roach Warren is down. I thought I spotted it earlier. A little difficult to tell. All right, we are taking a tier 2. There is that Roach Warren, and will Slam be aggressive or defensive with those roaches? That is the question here. Mothership Core going to clean up the center portion of the map. Zergling asleep, getting just absolutely killed by the repulsor cannon there, as the Phoenixes are now looking to get in a little bit of damage here, perhaps graviton beaming and taking down a drone or 2. I did mention this earlier, the drones with their upgraded range are much more effective at harassing the main base now. As you can see, this one particular Phoenix being microed specifically to get away, but the drone is gonna, the Phoenix is gonna do a quick flyback, go back in and get taken down. Wow, a little bit of a miscalculation there. The Queen does have superior range, as the Phoenix count currently sitting at 4, as we now finally see some Void Ray production. Now, defensively, Rush sitting on 3 sentries, but those 3 sentries are near maximum energy, if not at maximum energy, and that means plenty of force fields. With the combination of here, we should have about 10 force fields down, including a Guardian Shield, but I don't expect Guardian Shield to be used. There's not that many roaches, mainly Zerglings on the field. Coming across, Nexus, currently sitting at about 300 hit points. It is going to be about 30% in just a moment. There is a large discrepancy in terms of the supply, 124 versus 100. You can see that DS is once again supply blocked. This is not a game that he can hope to win if he's constantly supply blocked. He is down 30 supply as the Guardian Shield does come up. Roaches are now trying to engage, but they are going to get stopped. And there you go, another round of roaches getting stopped in the back. The Void Raids with their prismatic alignment now giving chase to all of those units here, as the front door, oh, is it going to be able to hold position there? Rush able to hold position ever so barely. The roaches unable to get through, as there is a force field there and a time warp. Beautifully done. Zealots now taking down all of the roaches, corralling them. A couple of Zerglings have made it inside into the natural expansion, and this will cause a little bit of cleanup back at home. But it is now 103 supply versus 93 in favor of DS. DS playing beautifully and is able to defend that attack. Zergling gonna get sliced and diced before it even makes up the ramp here, as DS now moving out. Nexus has been cancelled once more, so it looks as though DS is gonna be very, very strong moving into the rest of the game here. You can see DS's army now making its way to the top left-hand side of the map. We are running on 4 bases by Slam, and that is a bit of a question, especially since this expansion has been taken down. If we just see a large group of units coming from DS's army may just be that large that DS may just be that large that it's not going to be able to be stopped, and the economy will not be back. Okay, that's where I have left the game. So here we go. Void Rays now coming in. Going to be able to slice and dice all the drones. Pretty much caught out of position there. This is bad news. Drones able to slide through. Meanwhile, Phoenixes... wow, come on, back over here. Phoenix is now engaging against the Mutalisk. Mutalisk getting just absolutely taken apart, but the Phoenixes do need to back off in order to utilize their range. There you go. The Phoenix is now engaging. Once again, there was a Guardian Shield on the field as well, but so far it looks like DS is just trying to fight an uphill battle. Mutalisk continuing to take down more units, as you now see a Void Ray has arrived, only to get it shot down by Mutalisk here. The Mothership Core did not take all those units home. So Slam sitting at 115 compared to 94. DS unable to finish the job that he started. Perhaps mis-microing those Phoenixes, allowing the Mutalisk to engage them. And that's simply what you cannot have happen. If you build Phoenixes, you need to micro them. You need to ensure that they are they're dealing out that damage without taking any from those Mutalisks. And we see what happens when a superior Mutalisk numbers do hit the skies. 14 Mutalisks now trying to make their way in. Are they going to be able to find an opening? It looks like they are going to be trying to fly in around the far side here. There is one photon cannon. Plenty of energy inside that main nexus there, as the Mutalisk going after those... the Mutalisk now backing away from those Phoenixes. The Phoenixes unable to engage, but the photon overcharge now coming in, and those Mutalisks do have to be very careful. They cannot exchange themselves one Mutalisk for a pylon, even though it may supply block DS. DS is still trading extremely well, as Slam now back up to 162. All right, here we go. Oh, the Colossus in trouble. The Colossus now may need to back off. There comes the Phoenixes. The Phoenixes are now going to try and engage. Are we perhaps going to get a time warp? The Colossi get taken down in a matter of seconds, as Slam is just absolutely owning DS's army, and DS Rush just in trouble here. Will he be able to follow it up? Roach is now pulling through. It looks like he's going to be able to take down a couple of pylons, and the Mutalisks have just been owning the skies and shutting down Colossi left and right. Phoenixes perhaps need that Aeon Crystal upgrade for that +2 range, getting into a range of 7, but I do believe that this is starting to be the beginning of the end. Slam with just a superior number of units and now engaging with Corruptors as well is going to cause a bit of a problem. More Zerglings still making their way across the field. This Nexus will fall. It is going to be 4 bases to 3 in just a second, and with only 4 bases to 2 in just a second. And with only 2 bases to run on, DS is just on 2 legs to Slam's 4, especially with the main base nearly mined out. And there is the GG. Gamania Slam taking game 1 in this series. A little bit of an explanation on the format. This is the round robin play of the Taiwan Esports League. And in that, it is not a best of 3 series. All games will be played in pairs. If you win both games, you add 3 points to your score. If you win one and lose one, you get 1 point. If you lose both your games, you get 0 points. So that way there is no question about how many games are going to be played. It's always going to be 2. But with that said, you really want to beat your opponent 2-0 as opposed to tying, as you really want those 3 points for seeding later on. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed Game 1.